everybody, my name's Emily and I am going to show you a little bit about concept attainment. I have used this instructional strategy in my classroom before and it works really well. Right now I'm showing you in my kitchen because I don't have a classroom because I'm on mat leave. So do keep in mind you can do this using any type of media. You can use PowerPoint, you can use overhead, you can do it on the whiteboard, smartboard, whatever you want. I'm just going to give you a very simple version. Now, we all know that this concept attainment is supposed to promote discovery learning. Your students are going to be using their brains to look for patterns. They're going to be thinking critically, mostly to themselves and then with partners in the end, so there'll be discussion at the end of the activity as well. And really, it's sort of like detective work for students, and usually they're quite engaged and really enjoy this type of activity. It also can be done for any level of student or concept. You just have to adapt it accordingly. So there are 3 phases to concept attainment, and I'm going to walk you through each of those as if I'm actually doing it for a class. Now, I wouldn't tell my class this, but I'm going to tell you, I'm going to be doing the concept attainment on prime numbers. So I would introduce this probably in Math 8 somewhere along the way. And I would do it before I'd introduced the concept of prime numbers. So I'd preface the class and I would say, we're going to be learning a new concept today. I want you guys to try and figure out what this concept is. And this is how I would start. So basically, phase 1 of concept attainment is giving the class a data set. And when you give the class a data set, you also have to give them a focus statement. And the focus statement directs them on what to be looking for pattern-wise and what to be thinking about. So to my class, I would say, I'm going to give you a bunch of yes examples of this concept I'm trying to teach you, and also no examples. And what I want you to know is that the yes examples all have something in common. The no examples do not share this common attribute. And the yes examples obviously are the concept, the no examples are not. And I want you to focus on division. It has to do with something with the numbers I'm presenting you with, as well as division. So again, for phase 1 here, you would start and you would put up one by one a few of your data set. Now, you would also preface the class and say, ask them please not to yell at the answer if they think they know the concept. Please tell them that you will give them some time in a bit to talk amongst themselves as well as give their guesses. But the first part of concept attainment is basically thinking to yourself about what this concept could be. So again, I would start with, for example, the number 1, and I would say this is not an example of the concept we're trying to learn. Then you might want to give them an example of a yes. 31 is an example of the concept we're trying to learn. Now again, students, think about these numbers I've given you, and again, think about division and what you could do with these numbers concerning division. I'm going to give you a few more examples. 19 is an example of the concept. 8 is not. 36 is not an example of the concept. Neither is 24. 2, on the other hand, is an example, as is 29. So at this point, you might want to do a check-in with your class and say, hands up how many people think they know the concept. And you might see a few. Some people might be more comfortable doing a thumbs up, thumbs down. So thumbs up for those of you that think they have an idea of what the concept is. Thumbs down for people who have no idea. Thumbs sideways for those that think they might be getting it. This is just a check-in so you can see how many more of these data sets examples you have to give. And generally you can go, maybe you'll need 10 of these, maybe you'll need 15, it depends on the concept and how difficult it is, and also how quick your students are. So from here I would give a couple more, depending on how many more I thought they might need. So we would give a few more examples there. There you go. So at this point now we're going to move into phase 2 of the concept attainment. And phase 2 is asking your students to get together in a think, pair, share, or maybe groups of 4, and discuss what they think their hypothesis is. And you could have gotten them to write down their hypothesis early on their own so they could discuss it with a partner. And then that way they get a chance to collaborate, give their ideas without having to say them out loud to the whole group. And you might want to give, a couple minutes for this, for them to talk with their peers. The other part of phase 2 of concept attainment is to move on to the testers. So now in their partners you would say, okay, class, I'd still like for you to please not shout out the answer if you think you know what the concept is, but I want you and your partner to write down what column the numbers I'm going to give you are going to fall in. So for example, I would say I'm going to give you the number 5, and this is a tester, meaning you and your partner get to decide which column that goes under. And hopefully you wouldn't have to give too many of these, because you would be at the point where the students would probably know the concept by this point. Another number, 101. Which column do you think that's going to go under? The yes, this is an example of the concept, or no, it's not an example. And again, the students as pairs could be writing this down. You could throw in something tricky, like root 9, where do you think that might fall? And again, you might have 4 or 5, 6 testers. And at the end of the testing, you could ask pairs, you could ask people to give hands up for who knows the concept and why, what is the rule that we're looking for. And basically from there, once you have the correct concept given by a student, you can discuss what it is, and you can go back through all your no and yes and talk about how prime numbers are numbers that are divisible by 1 and the number itself. And lastly, once you are done all the testers, once you've got your concept out there and everyone understands the idea, then you get to move on to phase 3, which basically is an extension of this activity. Could be guided practice, it could be finding all the prime numbers from 1 to 100, making a list, something that gets them to actually practice the concept that they just learned. So I hope that you enjoyed. I hope you use this in your classroom, because it really is a great instructional tool, and it really does promote discovery learning, and the students really enjoy it. Thanks a lot.